A new trend is hitting the internet, turning the mirror on doctors and asking what they do to live their lives healthier and better. If we could just think like a cardiologist, our heart health may actually skyrocket. So that's why we sat down with Dr. Kohli to see what she does daily so we can emulate it. Well, guys, it's something that's been talked about on the Today Show. We've been seeing it all over social media. What would a cardiologist do? And thank goodness we are lucky enough to have our own very friend and cardiologist right here, Dr. Kohli.
Hi, Danny.
Hi. I'm so happy that we have you at our disposal to talk about this because everybody wants to know what you would do and why we should maybe implement some of these habits into our own lives. So first of all, what are some lifestyle choices that you would never make? Let's start with the nevers.
You know, it's funny. I say this, and I have friends who are cardiologists who don't always do this, but
Sure.
I do definitely want us all to strive to this. So the first lifestyle choice that I would never make is to binge drink.
Ooh, yeah.
So a lot of people say that, oh, I've been good during the week and I like to let my hair down on Friday or Saturday, go out and have several drinks with my friends. I would say that's actually a worse lifestyle choice than having 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol every day. Because the dose of alcohol you're getting in one specific setting is a lot higher. And alcohol is a poison for the heart and a poison for the blood vessels, not to mention the risk of cancer. So no binge drinking. The second, sleep 7 to 9 hours a night.
Yes.
We have realized the importance of sleep, and in fact the American Heart Association has now put it into life's essential 8.
Wow.
Because it's so important to our cardiovascular health and our health in general as well. And then the third is never smoke. No tobacco, no marijuana, no vaping, because especially as women, Danny, having a little bit of cigarette smoke inside our blood vessels, even if it's secondhand smoke actually, can be so highly irritating to those blood vessels. It can trigger inflammation, it can trigger blood clots, it can trigger deposits of cholesterol. So we really want to try to keep our body and our blood vessels as clean as possible.
Wow, and it's so surprising too that you said that, you know, even in your world, there are cardiologists that aren't even following some of these, which is, you know, it's big, especially the sleep thing. That's huge. Now, what are some signs that you would never ignore when it comes to, you know, lifestyle as well?
So the biggest one that I see all the time people ignoring is snoring. So if you snore or you have a partner that snores, that's not something to just shrug your shoulders about, make fun of them when you're on vacation. This is something to take seriously and talk to your doctor about, because snoring can actually be a sign of obstructive sleep apnea, which is a condition where when you go to sleep, the muscles in your neck can relax a little bit too much, your tongue can kind of block your airway. So you're basically blocking the oxygen from getting in. It's like pinching a straw when you're sleeping, and that's what makes that snoring noise. And when those people startle awake, it's not the snoring that's waking them up, it's the lack of oxygen that's sending a stress response to their body that's waking them up. So we often miss obstructive sleep apnea because people say, oh yeah, I've snored for years. That's not an okay thing. So if you're snoring a lot at night, or your partner is, you're waking up kind of startling awake, you notice that your partner stops breathing when they're sleeping at night. Those are all signs that need to get evaluated with the sleep study.
They're huge. Okay, so not something to just make fun of, guys. Now, what are some screening tests too that you would never miss? I think these ones are huge.
So obviously the usual blood tests, which we are all used to getting, which is cholesterol and blood sugar and what have you. But there's a couple of other cardiac tests that I would really recommend. So one is a blood test called a lipoprotein A. It's a simple blood test. You can even order it for yourself, actually. You know, go online at the labs that order it. It's about $30 or $35. And what it tells you is your genetic risk for heart disease. So it has implications not just for you, but actually for your family members as well. And 1 out of 5 of us are walking around with an elevated lipoprotein A, which means you basically, you know, you got a target sign on your back when it comes to heart disease. So if I find that in somebody in their 30s and 40s, my way that I treat them is going to be completely different to prevent their risk for heart disease in their 50s and their 60s. So that's an important test. And the other one is a test called a calcium score, which I would only recommend getting after 40 years of age, because below that it's not quite ready yet. But it's an X-ray of the heart that tells us if we already have heart disease. So one of the things that we do wrong with heart disease is we sort of guess whether you have heart disease based on your risk factors. We've now realized we should actually just go look for the disease itself, just like we do with pap smears and cervical cancer, we do with mammograms and breast cancer. So this is a quick little X-ray of the heart, and if your calcium score is anything but 0, guess what? You have heart disease.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, both, I mean, really important screenings to talk to your doctor about. I think those are big ones. Now, what is the one thing that you wish, above all else, that people would know about their heart health? I mean, the one big one.
I think that we all know that heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women. Yes. But what we don't realize is that 80% of heart attacks and strokes are preventable with diet, lifestyle changes, and risk factor management.
Yes.
So we need to wake up and get empowered because yes, it's the #1 killer. It takes more lives than COVID, than cancer, than anything else out there.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's in our control to change that trajectory. So I'm really hopeful that over the next 5 or 10 years and the next generation ahead, we stop talking about heart disease as the #1 killer because we've been able to implement those lifestyle changes.
Right. It's so in our own hands, everybody. Well, you can live like a cardiologist. It really, it's not that hard. Dr. Kohli proved it. Thank you so much, Dr. Kohli. Again, it's not that hard. If you have a topic or question for Dr. Kohli, you can message us on our Facebook page. That's Colorado and Company on 9 News. Your topic may just end up on the show.